We'll edit all this part out. Good morning. So there's this line we got, right? And I don't want you to cross the line, but if you find yourself on the other side of the line, I want you to get back as quickly as possible. And some things this week just started coming to me. I know there's some truck drivers in here, and you're all going to understand this, right? You're following somebody, and they kind of move over past the line, right? You're like, ew. And then they jerk back. They're back in their spot, and then they go off the other side. Now this is scary, right? And I think I'm not the only one that thinks maybe something's wrong, or maybe we should be calling somebody to check this person out, right? They're just all over the place. And this happens to each and every one of us. I'm sure I can't be the only person that's jerked back, you know, found myself playing with my phone or something. And if there's any cops in here, leave that alone. But you know, I'm no better than you guys. Things distract us, or I'm doing the iPod or the radio or something. And we find ourselves like this in life. And have you ever followed somebody because you thought maybe there was something wrong? I want to see what happens, right? Okay, so I didn't call the cops, but this doesn't look good, and I'm afraid they're going to hurt somebody or go off the road or something. And I'm following them to see what happens till I just can't take it anymore. I got to get on with my day, right? This is what happens to us in life. And what happens is we start to follow people for different reasons. I drove a semi for a few years, and you find yourself in a spot and you don't know what you're going to do. And you see a detour sign or whatever, and you see one semi go a certain way. And you say, he obviously knows where he's going. I'm going to follow him, right? And he goes down and pulls into this farmhouse. That's where he lives, you know. Right? You're going along in your car, and you come to a detour sign, and it's a little bit confusing, but you see everybody going a certain way. Obviously, they know where they're going. So let's just follow them. Well, do you know whether they know where they're going or not? It leads us into funny places. And sometimes people are following you, and you do the same thing. You ever see these dump trucks in construction zone, and there's a big sign on the back of their tailgate that says, "Do not follow me into the construction area." And I don't know how many people really know what that is. They put those on there because people follow this guy into this construction zone, and then when he swerves through the cones to go to work, you follow him right in there. That's what that sign means. I'm going to turn off and go into the construction zone, and I don't want you to follow me. Who's following you? Same scenario. You're driving, and you are being followed by somebody. I'll give you one other funny thing here just to lighten the mood, right? Chelsea, when she learned to drive, her directions were really bad, and if she's watching this, she's really going to be mad. But her directions weren't very good, and we used to tease her about it. And when we moved to town, she actually had to go out to our old house and then to Freeport because it's the only way she knew. Right? She was going to meet a friend between Pecatonica and Freeport, and she said, "I'll meet you halfway in Winnebago." You guys know where Winnebago is? Okay, so one day, Abby was with me, and you know that story, right? Abby always went with me. And she said, "Dad, I'll just follow you." And we had a blast. I drove all over the place. And all she was going to do was follow us out to the main highway, and then she was going to go her way, and I was going to go my way. And she followed us all over, wherever I turned. And Abby's just cracking up, you know? This was not good, right? It was funny. It's funny now. But, of course, she was quite upset. Who's following you? Everybody is. Kids. Parents. How are you leading your life? And are you one of these people that once in a while goes over the line? And they're like, "Hey, what's going on with that?" Now, when we see somebody do this, when it's severe, we will take action. Either call the police or try to get their attention. Something's wrong. What are you guys doing? When you see somebody cross a line like that, oh, that's none of my business, right? They have crossed the line several times on both sides of the road, and you don't do anything about it? if somebody's coming the wrong way on a one-way street, now I've ridden with some of you. You guys will flip them off and you will yell at them and call them idiots and everything you can imagine. You're trying to stop them. But one of your friends crosses the line in life and you don't do a thing. What's the difference? Why are you that bold out in traffic? But when it comes to your friends crossing the line or swerving a little, maybe going a little too fast, right? Everybody that goes faster than us is idiot, right? No, let's see. Yeah. No, it was a moron was the one going too fast. Idiots were the ones going too slow, right? So if they're not going fast enough, you're calling them an idiot. If they're going too fast, you're calling them a moron, but you won't do anything about it. I want to know why. You will yell at people in traffic like crazy. You will yell at people walking down a sidewalk and whatever somebody's doing something wrong and you don't know who they are, you will yell at them like crazy. But when one of your friends crosses some sort of line and you know where that line's at, you don't say a thing. Now, I actually want you to think about you being the leader. Whether you know it or not, you are a leader. And I have told a lot of people this before, and I'll tell you again, I am not the leader of this church. I am a follower of the leader. I don't have the vision. The leader does. I'm a follower. But then some of you might follow what I say or do. Well, some I hope yes, and some I don't want you to know about, right? We keep those things at home, and pretty soon there's a convoy. The leader is setting the goals. Anybody in a motorcycle club here? And you go out and you got a road captain? Lee knows where's Lee? A road captain, right? Okay, the road captain, he's in control. And he will go from the front to the back, make sure everybody's in the group. He has got this thing under control. He is your leader. And you do and stop and go where he goes and does. He is the leader. And everybody is following him. Except there's somebody in front of this person, and somebody in front of this person, and somebody in front of that person. You can't really see who's leading. Right? You ever been in a whole line of cars, and you can't tell what's up front, so you pull out to pass, and man, you got to go like crazy because that's a long line. And there's a tractor up there going 20 miles an hour. You see, you pulled out, you crossed the line, and went way too fast. You put everybody at risk because you didn't know who the leader was. But you wanted to get past them because they weren't doing a very good job. They were going too slow, so they are more idiots. We don't even know. I'll quit pointing at you. I'm sorry. Somebody's leading you. You're leading somebody else, I hope. That's our goal of the church, is to lead people, seek the lost, and lead them to the cross. If you're here for some other reason, the brownies are awesome. I don't blame you a bit. But this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're trying to reach people. We're trying to raise our family this way. Now, you understand that if you're driving and you're leading the pack, can I pick on you for a minute? You're leading, and they're following you. And if you start to swerve, if you go the wrong way, they will too. They won't say anything to you, but they'll think in their head, what's wrong? Something's wrong here. Are you guys doing that? You know where these lines are. Some lines actually are not meant to be crossed, but okay to cross. Now, I'm going to use this as Old Testament law. Christ didn't abolish the law, but he fulfilled it. And some of the things that are in that old law that he fulfilled, we don't have to do anymore. But there's still a principle there. So if you're out on the road and there's different colored lines, right? Okay, you can cross this one because you want to go over there. Perfectly fine. But when you're out on an access-controlled highway, does anybody know what that is? Access control means that you can't have driveways coming in and out. There might be a U-turn in the middle, but you're not supposed to use it. That's called access control. Everybody is supposed to stay in the same directions within these lines. And you see somebody that's starting to swerve, and you're wondering what's wrong. You know what? You actually want to help them. If something medical is going on, you want to help them. If they have had a little too much, I'll try to be good here, right? You need to get them off the road. Lots of things, but yet we see our friends going outside of the line and they're distracted. These are a distracted driver. They're not concentrating. They're not focusing on what's going on, and you don't say anything. I don't know why that is. I know that it's hard sometimes, but there's an effective way to do this. Who are you leading? And are you leading anybody? And if you aren't leading somebody and you are following somebody, what do you know about the person you're following? The one we should be following is the head of the church, Jesus Christ. But then we're supposed to lead others to him. You are a leader, and you have these lines that you're supposed to stay in. You know, and we're even so bad at this now that they have to put reflectors in the middle. Is this something that I don't get to town very often, but now they have these reflectors in the middle that I'm thinking that somebody's brother owns the reflector factory, right? See, that's probably going outside the line. The white line is huge. That's a lifesaver right over there. But yet, we don't really focus on it, and sometimes we cross it. And now what's happened is we've crossed it so many times that they put in these little rumble strips. I always think something's wrong with my car. I'm moving over there. See, I'm not paying attention either. I'm just like you guys. I've moved over. The rumble strips have gotten my attention. I have to figure out what it is. Then I'll go back. You're supposed to stay in these lines. And you are leading someone, whether you know it or not. Hopefully you're leading them to Christ, to church, to a better moral life, because that's our ministry. That's what the church does. This is all fun to get together, but this is really for us to get together, and we encourage one another, we build up one another, we pray together, we worship together, we get a little teaching of some sort, and then we go out there and be the church. This is just fun for us. This is a renewing, a place you can come for an hour and get your needs met. And we feed the hungry. See, I fed the hungry this morning. Right? Emma and Hannah brought in some brownies. They were feeding the hungry. I was starving. Meeting my needs. Not that I needed it, but I thought I did at the time. So, this road that you're going to go down, and you're leading, you get to be the leader, and people are going to line up behind you, and they're going to go where you go and do what you do until you start driving erratically, or you're not focused, and you start to swerve or go across the line someplace. I'm not following this guy anymore. That's what happens to us. We come in a place like this, and everybody knows where we go and what we do. I hate to tell you that, but everybody knows. And then we go out there, and we find someone swerving and driving erratically and all kinds of stuff. I better just keep my mouth shut. There you go. That's how we roll. We met her needs, right? Are you done? I sneezed 3 times in a row. Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. She'll never come back. It's called control growth. This road you're on is actually supposed to be very narrow. And there are indicators for you to stay on the road. Put up Matthew 7:13 and 14. Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Narrow road. It's got lines that we do not cross. This is the road that you're supposed to be on, and you're supposed to have a convoy behind you. And this convoy will watch what you're doing, go where you go, do what you do, until you do something that makes them understand that you either aren't going where they want to go, or you're not doing it the right way. You're not the best driver. Not an analogy. Tammy, Stefan, I'm going to pick on you for just a minute. Abby was moving and all this stuff. We had all this stuff in the trailers, and Tammy came to get one of the trailers, and she got out and she said, "You're going to have to back that up." And I said, "No, no, no, no. right? You get in there and do it. So here we are, standing outside, right? Anybody do this before? You back up something, come on, come on. You start going like this, right? And we got different signs, right? Does this mean stop? Any truck drivers in here? You got these signs, right? And she's backing up, and of course, she's looking over the back seat, and I'm thinking, use your mirror. I'm on this side, right? I'm trying to teach her, right? So then I have to jump between the car and the trailer, so, right? She wanted some direction from me, and narrow is the gate. Now, when you have a bunch of people, this gate is narrow, and few will find it. They're going to be the person that's standing out there saying, come on, a little to the left, turn your wheels the other way. That's leading somebody. It's not doing it for them. It's leading them. And to get through a very narrow gate, you need people like that. Maybe they followed you to this gate, and you get there, and there's some sensitive, close quarters, and you start to guide them. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And finally, she got about this far away, and she got out and said, I can't do this. No problem. I got in, and in fact, I think Joe actually jumped in. That's what we do. That's meeting people's needs. But we guided them to a certain place. We tried to teach them. We tried to show them. We were the leader for that very short period of time. Now, if I would have told her, turn your wheels all the way to the right and floor it, we would have had a mess. Buying Abby all new stuff. Right? Open up the back doors and just step on it, and all the stuff will come by. That's not really good leading, but it works. What are you guys doing to lead? You are leaders, whether you know it or not. Your family, your neighbor, whatever it is, somebody is watching what you're doing. And when you're driving erratically, you're over the line. Now, you all understand what I'm talking about here, right? They will not follow you. You are not a good driver. You're not a good leader, and we're not going there. We come to signs in the road that say detour, and all the cars are going that way. You just go that way. You don't question it. You don't actually want to put any effort into finding out whether that's the right way to go or not. But everybody's going that way. Is that what you're doing? You just following whoever decides to go someplace, and you'll go there too. That's what they do. That's where they're going. That's what we're going to do too. You better check your leader. Because if you get down there, cars can follow things for miles and miles. And if that tractor is leading a slow rolling convoy and he pulls into a farm, you are left out in the middle of the country. He found his spot. He wasn't leading anybody. He's just trying to get home. Who are you following? Who are you leading? Yes, we have one leader. That's the guy you should be following. But if you're going to get somebody to follow you, he's going to be in front of you, and they might not be able to see. Now, I'm a pretty good-sized guy to look around. See, I'm like following a semi. We can't quite see, and we're peeking out there. Who's up there? Right? They might not see the true leader of where you're going. But they know that you're good, and they will follow you. They don't need to see who's up front, because if everything's going right, they will follow you until you get to where you're going and say, you are a good leader. They'll find Jesus at the front of that convoy by following you. You don't have to call yourself a leader, but you are. You're actually following the leader, but these people are coming behind you because of the way you're acting, because of the way you talk, by the way you even drive. I've seen some of you drive. Who are you leading? Think about this. And how are you leading them? And are you actually crossing the line? Are you on the rumble strip most of the time? Because that's what they're going to do. You know, you take somebody and drop them into this country, and you come to one of these roundabouts. The first time I came to one of these roundabouts, now I'd like to get my hands on the guy that decided we needed these things. All right? And you know where I stand with signs? We just go. Them signs are for other people. And I pull up to this thing, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And here goes somebody. What the? Right? Okay, so if somebody gets plopped down right behind you, doesn't know where they're at or anything, and you come to a roundabout, they're going to follow you through the roundabout. Do you ever look behind you to see who's following you? It could be somebody very important, like your children. You need to be a leader. And what you're doing is you're leading somebody else, and you're following somebody else. Everybody's driven in the fog, haven't they? You guys all got driver's license? Maybe they don't know. When you're in the fog, this is some dense fog, right? You are concentrating. You are watching this white line, and now I know what the reflectors are for. I thought that was a hoax, but they actually are pretty good. You are following these lines, and you are staying between these lines, and you are actually leading between these lines. Stay between the lines, because somebody's going to follow you, and they are focused right on your taillights because they think you know where you're going. You could actually lead them right into a crash. But they trust you. It's the only thing they got right now. And this fog gets so dense. Sometimes you get disoriented. I'm not quite sure where I'm at, and you go by somebody's mailbox and say, I think I do. But then all of a sudden there's a curve. You need to have somebody in front of you. This is the light in the darkness. This is your hope that these people know where they're going, and I can see them a lot easier than I can navigate. The guy out in front, he's going slow for a reason. And you think it's not too bad because you can just follow the taillights. So now here again, you're trying to figure out who's leading over there, right? You're crossing the line because you need to know who's leading. And then you come out of the fog. Now you are white-knuckled. Maybe some of you aren't, I don't know. I hate it. I have to concentrate so much. I have to focus so much. And then I come into the light. The fog dissipates. You come up on top of a hill or something, and take a breath, kind of look around, see where you're at, and then you go down the hill, back into the fog again. This is life. This really is. And it's hard to see. It's hard to navigate sometimes. There are potholes. You ever come to a place where there's a sign that says, water on pavement? Well, I don't see any water, but you think it's going to come pretty soon, right? They've given you a heads up. And you come to the pavement, and you don't have a clue what's under that water. That could be a hole in the road. You'd go right down in. But if somebody else goes through it, you'll follow him in. I've seen floods before where somebody's got a big truck. Now, I know a lot of you got big trucks, right? Well, they did it. I think I can take my little Prius through there too. Yeah? Now, don't get a battery wet. This is bad. This is bad. But because he did it, you figure it's okay, right? If I just stay close enough, maybe I'll stay in his wake. You know how? I just found out what a wake is. Stay right in his wake. You know, he'll push the water aside, I'm going through. And you haven't got a clue what's up there, what's in there, what's under there. You don't know who the guy is that's in the truck. And he could be leading you into a disaster because you didn't pay any attention to the sign. You didn't take the warning. You didn't see the lines to where you're supposed to go. And pretty soon you find yourself in a really, really bad spot. But this fog, it gets so thick and so dense that pretty soon, when you come out of that, it is just such a breath of fresh air. You're glad it's over. No? Yeah, you do. The light in the darkness is what you're supposed to be. I'm going to read you some of these. This is being in the fog and you being the leader. Because the world has trouble, and you will find it. It will come to you. We do not have easy street, but you're going to lead somebody through this trouble, and you're going to be equipped on how to do it. And we're going to call this light in the darkness. You can be it. You're following Christ, and these people are going to follow you, and I hope somebody's following them, and we're going to get a convoy. This is called the church. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. Love that. This is my fog story. The people who are sitting in darkness saw a great light, and those who were sitting in the land in the shadow of death, upon them a light dawned. What a beautiful picture of just being such a wreck, and all of a sudden you can see again. It is so peaceful. You didn't realize how bad it was till you look at your hands, and you have had a grip on that steering wheel, and you focus. You ever been in the snow where it just kind of mesmerizes you? You know, it almost like I got to shake my head for a minute. Well, that's when I go across the line, right? This is white knuckle driving kind of stuff, and this is life, especially the roads in Illinois. God said, light shall come out of the darkness. We know who that light is, but you need to be that light for somebody else. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they put the light on the lampstand and put it under a basket. You need to be the light. Jesus tells us here, you are the light of the world. He says he's the light of the world. You're following that light. Now you're a light for somebody else. You are the lamp to my feet. This is the light in the darkness that somebody needs, and you can do it. You can lead them. You can be their light and bring them to the main light. But sometimes you just have to say, follow me. Or don't even say anything. Just by your actions, how you live your life. When somebody comes up to you and says, how do you do it? How do you get through these things? You seem calm, and I know what you're going through and all this stuff. Oh, bingo. You got them. Now, I don't mean to sound funny, but now they've just asked you your opinion, and you tell them about the light that you're following. Then they can be the light for somebody else. This is what we do. And it is so obvious that sometimes people are swerving off the road and nobody is saying a thing because they know who they are. They don't want to confront them. How good a friend are you? I've said this 100 times. How bad do you have to hate somebody to not tell them about heaven? You're standing inside the gate, somebody's standing outside the gate, and he's being rejected. Go away from me. And he looks at you and says, why didn't you tell me? We were friends. This is being the light in the darkness for somebody. And we can lead people to the true light by being a little light. It is so peaceful to have somebody to follow. I was caught in a snowstorm once, and I actually pulled off the road. I don't mean to admit that to anybody, right? Guys don't do that. I pulled into this farm. I couldn't even see where the driveway was. It was flat, so I went, and it wasn't exactly flat. But I got turned around, and I sat there, and I didn't know what to do. And I waited, and thought, okay, either it's going to let up, or maybe I'll just have to stay here for the night, and snow's drifting in around me. It was bad. And I saw a car coming. Couldn't see it very far, but here it comes. I could see the headlights, and I thought, this is my chance. I'm going to have to get out behind this car, pull out behind this car, and I will follow them. If something happens to them, I will help them. If something happens to me, I hope they stop, but at least we're together now. But I wanted them to lead me. And it was a little neon thing, and of course I had a truck, and I couldn't believe how fast this person was driving. I couldn't hardly keep up. I was scared, and I thought, they don't know where they're at. You can't see the edge of the road. Well, you've all been in this kind of stuff, right? And they took me all the way to town, and they pulled over to the side of the road, and I think they stopped to probably get a breath of fresh air, and it was some little old gray-haired white lady. And I thought, thank you, Jesus. That's the best angel I've had in a long time. I don't know who she was. I don't know where she ever went, but she led me where I needed to go. She was my light in the darkness at that time, and that's what I want you guys to be. That is the Christian way. This convoy that goes, we have a leader, and then the next one's following them, the next one's following them. They can't see who's clear up in front. But when they all go together, they all have their talents, and you can do so many amazing things. Somebody gets stuck, somebody's got a chain, somebody's got a Jeep, right? Somebody's out of water, you get stopped somewhere, somebody's going to have the water, somebody's going to have some candy bars, somebody's going to have an emergency kit, all together. That is the church. And there's one leader of this convoy. But are you even in it? And then we have our own little short convoys. That's where you're the leader of. Your children, your neighbor, your co-workers. You have people that are, oh my goodness, can the worship team get ready? I told you I'd get you out of here in an hour. Oh, I'm a mess now. All right, let me get to the good stuff here. Hurry, Abby, hurry. They'll call me a liar if I don't get them out of here, so. What I want to do is, you ever had a low tire on your car and it pulls? It starts to pull you to one side. It's kind of out of balance. And it's kind of your fault because you knew it was getting low, right? And the light, we have lights that come on the dash now. That's just, whoever had those? Anyway, when your car starts to get low, one of the tires gets low, it drags a little bit. There's a little more rubber on the road, and if you know the physics of this, it'll actually kind of pull. And you got to keep correcting it. You got to keep it bent over just a little bit because it's dragging and it's pulling that way. That's how we're leading a lot of people. We are struggling with keeping between the lines. Every once in a while we go over the line. And what I got is I got these little tire gauges. See these little tire gauges? Nancy, would you help me? Get somebody to help you. Start passing these out. I want this to remind you. It's even got our little logo on there. We had them for biker blessings. Yeah, we're the biker church, right? Pass these out to people. Let this be a reminder of you that somebody is following you and they are making sure they're watching you. And when you start to cross a line, they're going to start to doubt whether you are a good leader or not. Stay in the line. Keep your tires aired up. Keep an emergency kit in your car. You are going to be the light in the darkness for somebody. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. And when you leave this place, you look in your rearview mirror once in a while. There's somebody back there, and they might be mad at you and flipping you off and stuff, but they're still following you. And you're going to lead them by example. You're going to show them the way, and you're going to lead them to the great light. When you're in a storm and can't see, you want to follow somebody, even if it's not the follower. It's the one that knows the follower. It's the one that knows the leader. It goes back and back and back and back and back. They can't see who the leader is, but they will follow you because they know you know who the leader is. This darkness that we're trying to bring people out of, what happens is it cannot comprehend this light that we're bringing into the darkness. When this darkness comes over people, they don't know it. But when they see your light in it, they'll know that there's some peace just to follow you. That is where the darkness will start to tremble because it knows it doesn't stand a chance. Lead somebody into the light. Who are you leading? And I want you to leave this place thinking to yourself, I'm leading. I'm the leader. And I'm going to do exactly what my leader tells me to do because he is the ultimate teacher and the ultimate leader. Want me to stop that for you? Kind of irritating, isn't it? This is the road to life. Even when there's those sounds, you stay between the lines. You can tell people, this road is not going to be smooth. This road is not going to be easy. It's going to be curvy, and it's going to be slow, and it's going to be fast, and there's going to be uphills, and there's going to be downhills. But I know where we're going. Just follow me, because I'm following the leader. And you'll be surprised how many people want to know who the leader really is. Now you have the opportunity to tell them. But you need to be this light in the darkness. This is what the church does. This is who we are. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to look like, well, maybe a little better than me, but you can be just normal and you can be real. And just stay between the lines and let people see it. Because you are the light of the world. You know where it came from. He gave it to you, and now you're going to lead somebody. Take those tire gauges and let it be a reminder to you every time you get in the car that I am going to be the leader. I'm going to stay between the lines, and I'm going to lead from between these lines, not just stay in them. Let's pray. Father God, thank you. Thank you for giving us direction. Thank you for giving us the scripture to keep us in the lines. God, as we lead people, show us how to do it so that we can introduce them to you because you are the ultimate leader. Let's try to train up people to be leaders under your leadership. We are so grateful for what you've done to us, and we just can't help but to tell the world. But let them see how we act and who we are before we tell them, because we need to be the evidence of that light. It's in your Son's awesome, beautiful, power name we leave this place. Amen.